I almost didn't come, Bhero. The encrypted channel you used was flagged by the internal monitors within seconds of the transmission. I had to loop the perimeter sensors just to step out of my quarters without triggering a full-scale lockdown. You are being reckless with our safety.
Recklessness is the only currency we have left in a system that tracks our heartbeats in real time. If I had used the standard protocols, the director would be listening to this conversation before I even finish the first sentence. We don't have the luxury of caution anymore, Grace. The team is changing. You feel it too, don't you? The missions are becoming more frequent, the objectives more ambiguous. We are no longer shadows protecting the light, we are just ghosts being used to haunt the enemies of people we have never even met in person.
You talk as if we ever had a choice in the matter. We signed the neural contracts when we were barely out of the academy. Our loyalty isn't just a promise. It is hard-coded into our synapses. To walk away now would mean more than just a resignation. It would be a total erasure. I look at the data streams every night, searching for a glitch, a way out that doesn't end with us in a containment cell. But the web they have spun around us is perfect. Every move we make is anticipated by the predictive algorithms. We are trapped in a loop of our own making.
Algorithms can't account for human volatility. They can predict logic, but they can't predict desperation. I didn't ask you here to talk about the risks we already know. I asked you here because I found a blind spot in the network. A place where the watchers can't see us.
There are no blind spots, Bhero. Only traps that haven't been sprung yet. If you think you found a hole in their surveillance, it is because they wanted you to find it. They are testing us, watching to see if we will finally break under the pressure of our own mounting doubts. I can't stop seeing the look on the technician's face when we initialized the wipe. He wasn't a combatant, Bhero. He was a scientist who thought he was working on clean energy. We didn't just take the data. We erased the man's entire life's work and left him for the cleaners.
We were told the research had been weaponized by the opposition. Our orders were specific about the parameters of the erasure. You know how this works, Grace. We don't get the luxury of moral compass when the stakes are orbital. We do the job so the fallout doesn't reach the streets.
That is the lie they feed us to keep our triggers pulled. I looked at the decrypted headers before the purge finished. There was no weaponization protocol. It was a sustainable power grid architecture. Leadership didn't want the world to have it because it would destabilize the current energy hegemony. We aren't protecting people anymore. We are protecting the profit margins of a few ghosts in high-rise offices. Every time we go out there, I feel like I'm stripping away a layer of my own humanity for a cause that doesn't even have a face. I'm starting to wonder if we're the villains.
Careful. Disillusionment is a luxury we can't afford, especially not here. If the agency picks up a shift in your psychological profile, they won't just retire you. They'll treat you like a corrupted file. You need to compartmentalize this, Grace. For your own safety and for mine.
Is that all I am to you now? A security risk to be managed? I thought we were a team because we believed in something better. But looking at you now, I see the same cold vacancy I see in the director's eyes. You're not compartmentalizing, Bhero. You're disappearing into the machine.
I am surviving. There is a difference. If you keep pulling at this thread, the whole tapestry is going to unravel, and we will be the ones caught in the mess. I need to know you can still focus on the next phase. We have protocols for a reason. They keep us alive in the dark.
Maybe I'm tired of living in the dark. Maybe I'd rather burn out than keep snuffing out every light I find. The agency isn't a shield. It's a shroud. They have us convinced that the world is a monster so we won't notice that we are the ones with the teeth. I'm done being a predator.
It's not just the agency anymore, Grace. I was pulled aside after the last drop. 3 men I've never seen before, wearing our insignia but carrying hardware that isn't in the standard armory. They call themselves the Internal Correction Unit. They know about your doubts before you even spoke them.
You're saying we're being watched by a ghost cell? I thought our encryption was unbreakable. If they've bypassed the standard protocols, then no one in the main office is actually in charge. We're working for a shadow within a shadow, Bhero. Tell me you didn't agree to whatever they offered.
It's a survival strategy. If I hadn't listened, they would have sent a cleanup crew instead of a partner. They're looking for a specific kind of loyalty, not to the flag, but to the result. They believe the agency has grown soft, too bogged down by ethics and oversight. They want us to be the edge. They told me you'd say that. They're watching the biometric feed from my retinal link right now. Every spike in your heart rate, every dilation of your pupils is being logged. I'm trying to save you, Grace, but you have to stop fighting the reality of our situation. We are owned by the highest bidder.
If we trigger the AWOL protocol, the internal dampeners only buy us 10 minutes. After that, the agency pings our location via the spinal shunt. We aren't just running, Bhero. We are inviting a high-altitude kinetic strike on our heads the moment we lose our encrypted handshake.
Is that worse than this? Every night we sync our logs, they edit our morality. They smooth out the guilt until we're nothing but efficient tools. I'd rather starve as a human who remembers nothing than live as a god who feels nothing. We have to make a choice before the next update.
You're a dreamer, Bhero. That's why they assigned me to you. To keep your head out of the clouds and your finger on the trigger. But if you're serious about the imp, if you really think we can make it to the dead zone, then I need to know you won't leave me behind.
For the last 30 days, every word you spoke and every hesitation you showed was logged. I had a direct uplink to Central. They didn't just want to know if you were loyal, they wanted to know if you were salvageable. I was the one who argued that you were just fatigued, not broken or rebellious.
You argue for my life while you're the one holding the knife to my throat. That's poetic, Bhero. Truly. All those nights we spent talking about the future, about leaving the agency behind, was that part of the test? Did you lead me into a trap just to see if I'd walk into it with open arms?
I saved you, Grace. If I hadn't been the one assigned to you, they would have sent a cleaner. Someone who wouldn't have hesitated to put a pulse round through your head the moment you questioned the ethics of the Zurich operation. I stayed close to keep the wolves away from the door, not open it.
The wolves are already inside the house, Bhero. They're sitting right in front of me. How do I know this isn't just another layer of the game? Maybe you're telling me this now because you need to see how I react to a betrayal. Maybe this is the final phase of the loyalty check for both of us, so every moment we spent on the pier, every doubt I whispered into the dark, it was all just data for your report? You sat there and watched me crumble, pretending to be my anchor while you were actually the one tightening the noose. I thought we were partners, but I was just a case file to you. The rogue faction is real, and they are more dangerous than the agency. They don't want your data, they want your ghost. They want to strip the firewall from your consciousness and use your access codes to bleed the central hub dry. I monitored you to keep your signal clean, not to betray you.
I manufactured a way out for both of us. If I reported you as fully compliant, they would never look at your logs again. I had to create a trail of doubt so I could be the one to resolve it. I'm not the enemy, Grace. I'm the only reason they haven't sent the deletion squad to our coordinates yet.
You think monitoring me makes it better? You watched me bleed out in Sector 4 while you were checking my loyalty metrics. Every time I looked at you for backup, you were calculating my probability of betrayal. It wasn't about the mission or the team. It was always about how much of a threat I was. Then let them look. I would rather die running than live as a puppet for a shadow cabinet that doesn't even have the courage to show their faces. We have the encryption keys. We can burn the whole network from the inside right now. That is the only freedom we are ever going to get in this life.
If we trigger the wipe, there is no going back. Our identities, our histories, and our protection will vanish in seconds. We will be ghosts, but we will be hunted ghosts. You are asking me to trade a gilded cage for a life on the run where every face in the crowd could be the one that ends us. You always knew it would come to this, Grace. We were never meant to retire to a beach somewhere with a new identity and a clean slate. The agency doesn't leave loose ends, and right now, we are the loosest ends they have left in the field.
I didn't ask for a beach, Bhero. I asked for a choice. Every mission, every lie, every person we moved off the board was supposed to buy us that choice. But looking at you now, I realize you never intended to let us walk away from the shadows. Everything is on here. Every illegal extraction, every falsified report, and the names of the men who gave the orders. If I don't check in by sunrise, the entire network goes public. They can't kill us both without burning their own house down. Are you coming with me? Or are you going to stay here and try to explain to them how you let me get away? You know they won't believe you. They'll see it as a betrayal, and we both know what the penalty for that is in the agency.
I'll stay behind to delay the signal trace. It is the only way you get enough of a head start to disappear. Don't look back, Grace. If you see me again, it means one of us failed. Now move, before I change my mind and do my job.